And now the Hansons and Hiatus Podcast with Nate and Alexis.
Happy Friday, fuckers. It is episode 63 of the Hansons on Hiatus podcast. I'm your host, Nate. This is my wife, Alexis.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
And don't forget to support the podcast. buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy us some virtual beers. If you like what we're doing and you're enjoying the stories, or if you have any questions, shoot us a message. We will do our best to answer it.
We will do our very best.
Yes. But like, follow, subscribe, share on Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, and I have got confirmation. Somebody on YouTube actually told me that Google Podcasts is now on YouTube Music.
Pardon?
Google owns YouTube,
right.
They just got rid of the podcast or Google Podcast section, and now it's on YouTube Music. And I saw it's already on there, and you can watch the videos on there too.
Oh, great!
Yeah, so it's basically the same thing as our YouTube channel. So
yeah.
I don't know, whatever.
Make sure you're watching us. In our kitchen.
Yep. So my mom is still in town, and she had came down with her friend Jackie, and she had her other friend Jackie. My mom's name is Jackie as well. So
we had double Jackies.
Yeah, the
here.
Jackies.
And Jackie knows like 5 other Jackies. I swear.
Know. It's like a I think it's like the Mary Ellen of the Midwest.
Yes.
I'll name them Jackie.
Jacqueline. Love it.
So one of the days we were going over to Cozumel for our friend Wanda that we've talked about before, that runs that charitable tourism.
Yes, charitabletourism.com.
Oh, can you hear that?
Oh, something's happening with our sync. Oh, Mexico.
Mexico. Welcome to a Mexico moment.
Yes.
But yeah, so she runs this charity called Charitable Tourism, and basically they help like certain sponsored families in the Riviera Maya, or they have like these kind of what'd she call it? Like Chocolate Fest,
she'll have different events where she can give back different backpacks full of stuff, or new sandals or new shoes to school kids, or any kind of family within Quintana Roo that needs some help.
Yeah. So a lot of times she'll do these charity events that are like the underprivileged people will just come, and we can give them, like you said, free backpacks and shoes and clothes and sandwiches and stuff like that. But then she also does these other bazaars, and it's basically like kind of like a garage sale.
Yeah.
And she sells a lot of some of the donated clothes that to get some money for them, and then use that money to buy like a ton of sandals, or buy other things in bulk for the needy children, just to raise some money, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So anything that a lot of my girlfriends donate, when they're moving clothes, household goods, bathroom stuff, kitchen stuff, whatever. She'll take any of it as long as it's, new or gently used, and sells it for, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, it's like $2 shirts and, stuff at the bazaar.
Yeah, just to, get some money to go to the next event, and then either have, last year she had little tortas that they made, her and her mother made. So any of the money raised, they bought more sandals and fed everybody when they were there. It was really nice.
Yeah. So we decided to go over and help her with the bazaar, and then also bring the Jackies over.
Yes.
So they could help.
Yeah.
The thing we were a little worried about, though, is... we're fine with just giving away, the items, but we didn't know, like, are we going to have to haggle with people?
Yeah.
Like, would they come up and they're like, they want to, oh no, 50 pesos, that's too much. You want 40 pesos or whatever. So we're like, kind of like, what do we do? So at least when we got there, we just kind of put them on folding duty.
Yes. Yeah. Some people were on folding duty. Other people that, we were kind of speaking to people in Spanish and helping out as best we could, but everyone else had a job. Every single person had like a job folding or just greeting, whatever. Great.
It was really good. And then so we told them, as your reward, after we're done with the bazaar, then we're going to go over to the beach and hang out. So we got to do that. And actually I took the moms over to the beach a little bit before the bazaar was over, because we wanted to get some good sun. And you stayed because you were having a fucking great time out in the street.
Our friend Marlos and Wanda and I, we were slanging shirts and shoes and bathroom stuff, and we were having a fun time. I just went out front of her house where she's like this cute little gate and a courtyard where everything was set up, but you could see a sign, bazaar today, and it's going to the charity, and we had a bunch of stuff hanging outside. And I'm like, nobody can see it. They're driving by so fast. So I go out there and start waving shirts and waving to people and smiling. Then Marlos comes out and starts yelling, 50 pesos, like ropas, chanclas, like all the things. It was so funny. Everybody's driving by smiling, waving back at us. And then a lot of people would loop back around.
Yeah. But I believe we raised like 16,000 pesos.
We did.
Yeah,
Yes.
so it was
So
good.
job to
And
everybody.
what is that? It's like 900 some about $900.
Yeah.
So I mean, pretty fucking good because you can buy a lot of sandals and backpacks and lunch pails and toothbrushes and all that stuff for that much money. So that'll definitely go really far for the foundation.
Her goal was 10,000 pesos. So we totally exceeded that,
Yes.
which is great.
So yeah, it's awesome.
It was a fun time. It was so fucking hot that day.
It was so hot.
I was like crispy by the end of the day. And for me, that was, it was hot.
And so we took the 9 a.m. ferry over, or maybe 9:30, 9:30 ferry over. And then on the way back, what time did we leave? I think we ended up getting like the 7 or something, didn't we?
Yeah, it was late. We kind of messed up the ferry times at the end of the day.
Yeah, because they added that new ferry.
Yeah.
So we were trying to get on that one. But the times were different going there, but returning, they were also different. So I don't know. It was all messed up. But so we were trying to get back in time because our friend Pedro, his band was playing at this like local club called 316 Sushi, or Sushi 316.
Yeah, Sushi
So,
316.
so we're picturing like this nice sushi place,
Yeah.
and it was like across the highway in like the more local neighborhoods. And so we're trying to get back there. His band went on at like 10, I think, right?
Mhm. Well, it was supposed to be, we had a ride at 9, the band was at 10, and then that's pretty much all we knew.
Yeah. So we're trying to get, like, we didn't think we'd be gone that long all
Yeah.
day. We're like, oh, we're gonna come back at like 5 or something.
We'll be back way
Well,
earlier.
we got the wrong ferry, and then or we didn't get the wrong ferry. We bought the wrong tickets for the wrong ferry, and then we just hang on to them and use them for next time or whatever, because they're good for like 90 days.
We'll use them. They'll be used.
And then when we got on the boat, do we have problems getting on the boat? No, it was getting off. So
Getting
it was
off the boat.
very windy, and so we took the ferry back over to Playa del Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got there, we could, and it's dark out by this point, super late. It was like 7:30, maybe 8 even.
It was probably 8 by the time we landed.
Yeah. And they couldn't like dock because it was so windy, and it was like the boat was going up and down,
my
and
God.
they were only letting like half of the boat off, and then the other half, instead of just letting everybody get up and get in line.
It
So
was so scary. That was the rockiest ferry I've ever been on. It was just like this the whole time. And I'm like, oh my God. I don't really get seasick, but that was making me feel a little woozy.
And we were also on Windjet, and so we were on the inside.
Pinchy windjet.
Pinchay.
Pinchy windjet.
We were on the inside, and there's no windows, or there are windows, but they have like an advertisement on the outside or something, so you can't fully see through them at night.
Yeah.
So that was more scary because you can't see where you're going. You just feel the boat rocking back and forth. So that was a little weird.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, you weren't a fan.
That's my least favorite ferry.
But we get to we finally get back and we get home, and our friend Chrissy is also coming to the concert with us.
Yep.
And he was supposed to pick us up at 9. That ride fell through, so then we're trying to get a taxi over there. And what time did we get there? We get there at 10? We got there at 10:30.
I thought it was before 10. Or is it after?
I think it was a little after 10.
Okay, yeah, a little after.
So we go up to and we get there. This is not a nice sushi restaurant, which I mean
it's not a bad one, but
it wasn't like a bad sushi restaurant.
It's not what you typically think.
It was like a nightclub.
It was.
I mean, it was outside, inside.
Yeah.
So it was like they had a roof and like kind of 3 walls, but then the front was like open air, and the stage was there, and they had kind of a fence around it, so you could see kind of through the stage to the stage.
Yeah.
But this was like a fucking grunge bar.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Nightclub kind of.
I can't even think what I would compare it to. I mean, in Orlando, it was kind of like Barbecue Bar or I Spy or something like that. It was kind of like those alternative. Even in Mexico, they have a lot of the bands were like ska bands and everything. So the people there were like in all black, tattoos, weird haircuts and everything, which totally fine. It was just a different genre of people that we have not typically hung out with.
Yeah, we weren't expecting that, and it was hot, and people had all black on and all this stuff on and jewelry things. I'm just like, dying in my little tank top.
Yeah. And so we go in with our friend Chrissy, and they're like, they just look at us, and we're like,
Like,
here's
hey.
your ID. Like, we're like, what do you need from
Yeah,
us? And
what do
he's
you
like,
want?
they're like, tickets? We're like,
Oh.
Tickets?
Oh.
Yeah.
We didn't know.
No, we were not told that you had to buy. And then, so then they told us how much for each, or for all of us. And it was like 1,500 pesos or something. It was like $75.
I thought it was more than that. Like per person or total?
I think it was for all of us, but
Oh.
still, I mean, it would have been nice to know,
Yeah.
ahead of time.
We only had a little bit of pesos on us too. They were like cash. We're like, what? We don't have it. We really don't have it. And they're like, we can take card, but it's a bitch pretty much. I'm like, well, I can't make cash come out of my purse. I don't have any pesos. I'm sorry.
So our friend Pedro, his band was playing. Really good.
Yeah.
But they were playing while we were like in line, kind of like figuring out what to do or whatever. So we did get to see him.
Yeah, we got to see them. We were right on Pedro's side. So we're like, Pedro.
Yeah. So we eventually got in.
Yep.
And then we go get 3 beers. And granted, they were very large beers, but those were 450 pesos for 3,
Yeah.
which is about $25-$30 probably.
I'm sure everyone at home's laughing. Like, it's $25 per beer at home right now at like a sporting event. But this is Mexico.
Yeah,
It
and-
should not be that much.
And we were at a hot sushi place, apparently, a hot
Yeah.
sushi grunge bar.
The hottest sushi bar.
They actually need to change the name to Hot Sushi Grunge Bar.
Yes. Ooh, maybe you wouldn't want to eat there.
You going to HSG tonight? Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there.
I'll be there. But we get those same size beers at like Onyx or whatever downtown, and they're a couple bucks each.
Yeah,
you
like
know,
50 pesos, like
$5.
$3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
$5. Yeah, so that was expensive, but it was really pretty entertaining.
It was.
Just to see these ska bands, these Spanish ska bands, but then there was also like Irish people there.
Yeah.
Like the guy with
good mix.
the Ireland flag.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but they all knew the words of these songs. I'm like, how do all these people know these
Yeah, I'm
words?
like, I don't know this. I don't
Yeah.
know this one. I don't know this one.
Yeah.
Then we're like, do we know this one? No, we don't know this one. But it's okay.
But yeah, it was sweaty.
It was
like,
so hot.
and we had been up since like 9 a.m. We're at the foundation, and then we were at the beach, and we were drinking all day, and then we had the boat ride home, and then we had to walk home, and then freshen up really quick, and then get a taxi over. So we're just like dying.
We were sweating all day. I don't know how we didn't pass out.
Yeah. And before I left, I went to the bathroom. I don't know. Did you go to the girls' bathroom?
I didn't. Chrissy did, but I was like, nah, I'm not going in there. I'll just wait. And I didn't have to go because I was sweating so much.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it was like a nightclub type bathroom,
Yeah.
but I mean, nothing fancy, not anything super disgusting. But I go in there and I'm going to the bathroom, and I look down at the floor, and it's all red, like
Oh.
red water
Oh,
kind
no.
of stuff. So I'm like, oh my God, is this blood?
Did someone die in here? Is this Dexter's bathroom?
So I either think, one, it was blood, and they were like mosh pitting and everything
Yeah.
like that. And remember that guy that looked like Mexican Patrick Mahomes?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
or Mayan Mahomes.
Mayan Mahomes. He was Patrick Mahomes, but short. He
Yeah.
had the same hair. It was cute.
And then he had like all those like like leopard. Is it leopard
I
or
guess.
jaguar?
Like tattoos?
Yeah.
Cheetah kind of print?
Yeah, like the
Print.
cheetah print. I think
Yeah.
it's a jaguar, right?
Maybe girls get cheetah and boys get jaguar.
Yeah, right. Yeah, who knows?
Sounds better.
Yeah, the cheetah girls and the jaguar boys.
Yes, that's it. New coming to Disney.
Yeah. So like maybe somebody hit heads or got
Yeah.
cut or something, so they went in the bathroom to clean up, and it just got all over the floor, or it was just like some kind, like the Georgia red clay.
Oh,
Maybe it was just from people's feet or something, because it was just like, it didn't look like red. It was
Yeah.
just that kind of like muddy red.
Was the lighting in the bathroom red or
Nah,
no?
not that as far as I remember,
Oh, okay.
but I guess it could have been.
Yeah, some of the like nightclubby bathrooms, they'll have a different color in there, and you come out and you're like, geez, all I see is like red or green now or whatever like
Yeah.
that. But I appreciate you and Chrissy pulled me out of the way a few times of the mosh pit there because it would just pop up. We'd move, and then the mosh pit was behind us, and we move again, and then they'd be right there. I'm like, do not pull me into this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be bleeding.
But other than that, it was fun. It was a good experience. Nice to hang out with. Like, I didn't realize there were so many like kind of like local like scene people like that.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't seem like most of them were like tourists that like had came over or whatever.
Oh yeah, they were definitely locals or the friends of locals, and we don't see that a lot downtown. You know, we're kind of in our own little bubble.
Yeah.
And we don't have a car, so we don't make our way out that way much.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So time for the top 3 Mexico moments of the week.
Nice.
All right. Number 1, at this same kind of grunge bar club, we were towards the back and there was a couple just sucking face.
And when you say sucking face, you mean it.
Yeah. It was like a love story that I was watching in action.
Yeah.
You could see at the beginning, they first met, they didn't know each other, and she was a little more into, or he was a little more into her. He was trying to like kind of kiss her, and they were just kind of playing hard to get. And then they were just going at it. So like the whole show.
In the middle of the show, people were bouncing around, jumping around, moshing, doing whatever. It's so loud and sweaty in there. They're just in the middle of everybody making out.
Yep. And then later on in the show, I think he sobered up a little bit and realized maybe this wasn't his type, or maybe he just realized he was the makeout guy at the concert, because she was trying to make out with him and he kept on like trying to kind of turn his head, and then he pretended like he was talking to his buddy, just totally denying her. So hopefully they went home together, and you know, they're together forever.
I know, me too. They looked happy.
Yeah.
They looked really happy.
All right. Number 2, after the bazaar, we were walking to get some beers, and we see on the side of the road, this guy's really nice car is kind of broken down. And this guy on a motorcycle hooked up to this tricycle thing pulls up, and it's like Mexican AAA.
What?
Yeah. This guy had like an air compressor and a jack and tools and stuff, and he just hops off his little tricycle motorcycle contraption and is fixing this like luxury car. So
It was a nice car.
yeah. So I did not know that existed. I don't know how you call them, but pretty cool.
You should have got his number for future incidents.
I should have as well. And number 3, we were at brunch at the Fives.
Yes.
And I had asked, and you get free beers and free mimosas, right?
Yeah.
So I had asked the waiter for a beer, and the beer is Sol, and which in Spanish means sun.
Yeah.
And if you've been to Mexico, it's, I don't know, it's one of my like old school beers that I used to get here, so I like it. Not a lot of people are huge fans of it, but
It's just like an easy drinking light beach beer to drink.
Right.
It's cheap.
So I said, you know, uno Sol, and he said, oh yeah. So he's gonna go get it, I guess. Doesn't come back.
Yeah.
Then he does come back.
Yeah.
And I have to remind him again. I was like, Sol? And he's like, oh, he. So, and then he comes back and he puts the salt on the table and goes, Dook. And I'm just like,
Tiny little salt shaker.
I was so confused. I just thought he was just bringing the salt. No. He was like, salt. And I was like, oh, no. Sol.
So
Salt in Spanish is sal.
Yes.
So he thought, and he was just dying laughing.
laughing.
Yeah.
We were like, cerveza? He's like, ah.
Yeah. So I was like, let me fix it. So I put the salt in my soul and called it a day.
Yes. I thought maybe he was confused because a lot of people do ask for like salt and lime with their beer.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, he's
chilada.
bringing the salt, he's bringing the lime. Where's the beer? No.
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
But he had a good laugh
Yeah.
over it. It was pretty funny.
He was really nice. Great service. Love their brunch.
Yes. So yeah, that was the top 3 weird things that have happened to us in Mexico this past week.
Yes. It's always something.
Yeah.
We just try and cap it at 3.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and this one is honorable mention. So this story happened to me this week, and I was walking me, as in like you weren't here,
Yeah.
or there. So I went for a run down Fifth Avenue, and I was heading back, and I see this guy walk over to one of the benches that's just along the street, and he picks up somebody's phone that's sitting on the bench, and he like looks at it, and I'm like, oh, this motherfucker better not steal it, because he looked like he was about to put it in his pocket, but then he turns to the restaurant across the street and starts talking to him, and is like, oh, is this somebody's or what? Like, or I think maybe he wanted to leave it with them in case they came back to look for it.
Yeah.
And the waiters at the restaurant were like, oh, it's the guy, like, he's like maybe a block down. He's like, it's that guy in the red shirt, and he was with 2 other people.
Oh.
So this
Like,
guy
wait.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, that's cool. Like they're
Yeah.
trying to get it back to somebody. So this guy, younger dude, had a Frenchie puppy.
Oh,
And it's like one of those little ones where it's like boing, boing, boing. So he just starts kind of like jogging down the street to catch up to this guy. And the
Yeah.
puppy's like running. And these people are like, I don't know if they're walking fast or whatever, but it was taking him a while to catch up to him. Finally, he picks up the dog and he's running. And,
Oh, no.
and it's fucking hot out at
It's
this point.
so hot.
He's running and people are staring at him because he's running with a dog and a cell phone.
Yeah, like, what's up?
And I see him, and there's still maybe a half a block in front of me, and he caught up to him, and he's talking to him. He's like, I could just see them hand motioning, hey, is it your phone? And they all three of the people looked very confused, and they're all like, pull out, they're like, no, we have our phone. And the guy was just like, like he did that good deed for nothing. And so then he turns around and he just walks right back, probably going back to give it to the restaurant, I would assume.
I'd be like, they'll come back here.
Then I'm continuing to walk, and in the next half block, there's a big group of people around this business that I know is closed, the barbecue place, like kosher barbecue. What? Kosher barbecue? Come on, get it out of here.
Yeah.
Which
Get it out of here.
I'm sure it tastes fine, but it's a lot more expensive than regular barbecue.
Right.
It's like, just do regular. Whatever. Anyway, this place is closed. And so there's like a big group of people kind of surrounding this guy. And I see him between the people, and this guy in a wife beater is sitting down, and these people are surrounding him. They all look like tourists, but like South American tourists.
Okay.
Like they look like Hispanic, but you could tell they were tourists.
Yeah.
And then there was like 2 or 3 police officers, and this guy has his hands behind his back, and he's like handcuffed or whatever.
Oh, no.
So then I start thinking, what if they think this dude stole their cell phone, and the guy at the restaurant was pointing at the other bigger group that was in front of us, and somebody in there had a red shirt. And so this guy, and I kind of watched for a little bit just to see what was going on, but they handcuffed this dude, put him in the car, and took him away. So they arrested this guy. So I hope that it wasn't because of the cell phone.
Yeah.
And
so
I
it was the same guy getting handcuffed that like ran with the Frenchie, or
no,
different
completely
guy?
different guy. But I was
okay.
just saying, I wonder if these people accuse this guy of stealing their cell phone, like on the bench or something, and he was just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, maybe. Or he was doing something else.
Yeah, I mean, more than likely, probably something else, because I would think if you are getting arrested for stealing a cell phone, they would find the cell phone.
Yeah, they probably empty your pockets now.
Yeah, like empty your prison purse.
Yeah, no, not just the pockets, please.
Okay. Oh shoot. So yeah, hopefully, that guy did not steal it.
Yeah, hopefully the person,
or hopefully he got in trouble for something he really did.
Yeah, hopefully they find the guy's cell phone.
Yeah.
Or the person with the cell phone.
And we got one last story. You had like some crazy guests at one of your Airbnbs, and to refresh some people's memory, Alexis works for Airbnb management company now that manages Airbnbs in Tulum.
Mm-hmm.
So she is like the face behind it. So she, is the person that messages all the guests and helps them out with things and everything like that. So what happened in this situation? It was late at night, I believe, right?
It was actually, it's this couple staying in one of our units. We had some problems with them the very first night that they got there. So they get there, and one of our other guests messaged us, said, hey, the 2 people that just like checked into the unit next to us, there's something going on. I don't want to get, involved. I'm not trying to be involved, but it's very apparent that like there's something going on between them. They're fighting, and we're worried for the woman because she keeps telling the man to leave. And we're like, oh man. And my boss, our buddy Tom's like, there is a zero tolerance policy of anything domestic or yelling, or it's supposed to be tranquil and peaceful back there. And
and especially because all of your rentals are kind of in this like community.
Yeah.
So not only do you not
neighborhood.
want something to happen to her, but it also makes the other guests uncomfortable if they're at, in their Airbnb and something else is going on in their general area in the jungle.
Exactly. And you can hear it pretty good. So, everything echoes back there. Anyway, so we touch base with them. They're like, we're sorry, just, lovers quarrel, blah, blah, blah. It won't happen again. The window was open. It's fine. Everything's good. And we're like, please don't let it happen again. The very last night that they're staying, Oh my goodness. I guess I got woken up by my phone ringing, which I never have my ringer on, but I guess my WhatsApp would like vibrate if there's a call.
You had it set on 2004.
I did. Vibrate only. No, don't wake me up.
Yeah.
My ringer's off.
No.
No one call me if there's an emergency because I'm sleeping. Sorry. So my ringer's off, but I guess the WhatsApp ringer isn't. And I kind of wake up and I'm like, did I hear something? Did I not? I look at my phone. There's just a ton of messages in our co-host group with me, my boss, and this couple. We always start a WhatsApp group. It's easier to communicate in Mexico. So if you need anything or to send, information, it's way easier. If you're out at a cenote, much easier. So I get all these messages. He won't leave. Please help. Blah blah blah. All these things, and I wake up right away, like very concerned. So I start messaging Tom and calling him like, hey, we got a problem. This is like 5:36 a.m. And she's saying, he won't leave. He's bothering me. He's yelling at me. He's in the group also replying, she's drunk. She's like, he's drunk. They're going back and forth, all this stuff. She locked me out, won't give me any of my stuff. I've been outside by the pool for 2 hours. I can't go to bed. I can't leave. I can't do anything. I don't have any of my stuff. She's like, I'm not opening the door. Not opening the door. I don't want him in here. I'm worried for myself, whatever. So they're going back and forth. Tom finally wakes up. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And it's like a Saturday morning. They're supposed to be leaving by like 11. So you're leaving. Can you not just like squash this and figure out what's going on and sober up? And I don't know, just here's your stuff, whatever you want to do. So he gets on with them. Security's on their way. Maintenance is on their way. He's on his way. Everybody's on their way right now. Security gets there, keeps them apart. He's sitting with the guy outside. And then Tom gets there to help her. She will not let him back in. She's like, no, don't want to let him in. We had to wait until she packed all her shit up. We got her out, called her a taxi to the airport. And then they had to escort him in after she left to get all his shit and get him out of there.
Oh
and they're
God.
like, we're so sorry. This is so embarrassing. And we're all like, yeah, this is ridiculous. Like, what is your problem? So then he is on the same flight as her. And we're like, do you need a taxi to the airport? Or is this going to be a problem at the airport? And it's not our problem once they leave. He's like, no, I don't need help. I have an ATV. I'm going to return it. And then I'll meet her at the airport. We're just like, woof, I feel bad for the Tulum airport.
Yeah.
They're going at it. This WhatsApp group's like so long. There's always something going on.
How embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
I can't imagine. Like, we've had, disagreements and fights and whatever. I can't imagine having to call or wanting to call the Airbnb host. Like, you've been outside for 2 hours. You haven't been out there for 2 days.
Yeah.
Like, cool down, like whatever, lay on the patio. I'd sleep on the patio or, whatever, but I wouldn't involve the hosts of the Airbnb.
That would be the last thing I would want them to know. But if they charge us more or put a negative review for, obviously, whatever.
Or like, what did he think they were going to do? Like, you're going to go let him in and then leave them there together? No, of course not.
The thing was, the Airbnb's in her name under her card. So we asked, is there anything we can do to help resolve this quickly and get you guys settled and get the fuck out of our lives to the airport? And she's like, no. Airbnb is in my name. It's under my card. I paid for it. I want him out of here. I don't want him to like mess up anything. And we're thinking in our heads too, oh my God, the place is probably destroyed. There's probably holes in the walls, things broken. No, they didn't do anything. Everything was perfect condition, perfect shape. Everything was fine. So they were just yelling at each other and fighting at each other. And she had mentioned, this isn't the first time this has happened. We're done, blah, 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 all these things.
Oh my gosh.
It was ridiculous.
That's crazy.
I couldn't imagine, messaging the Airbnb host or just, you're waking everybody up. You're being loud 5, 6 in the morning and you can see your neighbors right across the way. I'd be so embarrassed. I'd be like, get in here and shut up. You go sleep. The last thing I'd like to mention too, they had rented the whole home. So a lot of our units have an upstairs and a downstairs. You can rent them together or separately. Sometimes there'll be a different couple upstairs, a different couple downstairs. They're lock-offs. They had both units rented for both of them. she wouldn't even let him upstairs. We were like,
Why?
can he not just go up? She's like, no, the reservation's under my name. I don't want him breaking anything, and then I have to pay for it.
Sure.
We're like, oh my God. But when you first started fighting, why didn't you go up there originally? Why didn't you just go do that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can understand that, but I mean,
Yeah.
I would at least let it, what would you have done if it was me and you'd like at least probably throw the key out to me or something like bing.
Yeah, I would have been like, here, you go sleep in your own place tonight. But they looked a little younger. They looked like maybe they hadn't been together that long.
Probably doing coke.
Little spice. They're probably drunk. Things were, other things were involved.
You guys find shit like that. Like, what was the one recently you found? It was like, I mean, not you personally, but the maids and everything.
I love our cleaning crew group because we also have a WhatsApp group for them, and they'll just send pictures of things they find, and they think these group of women are hilarious, but they'll just send pictures of stuff and make little jokes with it. Last one, 2 dudes, they found a bag of Coke, the toilets weren't flushed or something like that, and like sleeves of condoms.
Yeah, it was like the big like roll of them or whatever. It was like, what the
it's
fuck?
like a big old sleeve of them, and the maids are like, oh,
yeah.
oh my.
Were they for the 2 dudes or for the 2 dudes?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they were having ladies over, or maybe they were together. I will say, though, there was never any arguments or loud noises or problems with them. So they can do whatever the fuck they
know how to handle their coke and butt fucking.
But I think my boss needs to write a book, Airbnb book.
Yeah,
or
I agree. A coffee table book of Airbnb nightmares.
The picture, maybe like just a quick little story. A coffee table book would be great. Quick little story, and then little bubble pictures, condoms, Coke bag. Maybe not the toilets, but you get it.
Yeah. No, that would be a great idea. There's a TikTok, maybe we've talked about it before, but there's a TikTok account that does Airbnb, like horror stories, basically.
Yes. Which these I wouldn't say they're horror stories, but they're good stories. Yeah. Things are never the same every day.
I can't remember if I told this on the podcast or if you and I were just talking about it, but on the TikTok Airbnb horror stories, one of the ones the guy was saying, he had some people that refused to leave, and they're like, not like basically kind of trying to be squatters or something. And so he like after their checkout date or whatever. So, what he did was he had like this giant black dude that was his buddy, he gave him money and he rented his Airbnb on the app. And since the other people were technically supposed to be checked out, this next guy was there legally because he had a reservation and everything. And he went right in and he sat down on the couch and I can't remember what he said to him, but it was like he basically helped them pack and got them the fuck out of there.
Yeah, let me help you.
Yeah. He's like, no, I'm going to be sitting here for the weekend.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to do? I brought some condoms and cocaine.
That would be hilarious. I'm going to tell Tom that.
Yeah, that would be funny. So, yeah, good to know. And then another one I saw, or it was at least a comment, and they said they registered their Airbnb as like a business, not like an LLC or something, and not a rental or whatever. So it's technically a business. So when people decide not to leave, they can legally get them out because it's not considered squatters' rights or whatever because they're trespassing a business, like saying it's a business place. So I was like, oh, that's pretty smart. I don't know if it works here, but
what a dumb thing, squatters' rights. I understand like protecting the renter because there are a bunch of landlords and management and whatever that are shitty and try and screw you and get you out and make as much money. But then there's also shitty people because I talk to these people a lot or they're just not educated on what's going on. I don't understand that there's so many rights for these squatters. Like once you are considered a squatter, get out. You think you'd be able to call the police? Like we have a legal agreement from one day to the next day. Get them out.
Yeah, I don't get the ones where it's like somebody's home and they just like bust into the house and they're like, oh, we live here now and they can't get them out or whatever. Or if you change the locks, you get fucked over. But I do think a lot of the laws became like increased or became tighter with COVID because they didn't want people that weren't able to work get booted out of their apartment during the pandemic and, kind of be fucked over like single moms with a kid or something. And they're just like, hey, get the fuck out. So I think that's where a lot of
did anyway.
Yeah, right. But so maybe that's where some of them got more like strict or lenient or whatever. But
It was even before that. It's
oh
so
yeah.
weird.
I mean, yeah, it's always been a thing. I just think they got worse over COVID time. So yeah, I don't know. And let's see. Was it the Travesía Sagrada?
Yes.
The sacred Mayan journey thing that we talked about at the end of that last episode that we were supposed to go to, and it got postponed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was supposed to be
windy.
last Friday. And it was too windy for them because what they do is they recreate this sacred Mayan journey of canoeing across the channel over to Cozumel, and then they come back the following day, I believe.
Yeah.
If the ferry ship was having a hard time docking up, I don't think it's great to have like fucking, I don't know, 200 dudes out in the
little canoes are going to be like, they're not going to be able to do that.
So that is this weekend.
Yes.
Well, actually, technically it was this morning. So, so we'll talk about it next week.
We got up super early.
Yeah. Hopefully, unless it got canceled again, then we'll be putting it off again until next week.
Yes.
And also it is Memorial Day this weekend, or
Memorial Weekend.
Monday. Yeah. So Memorial Day weekend. Because our friend was like, "Oh, what are you guys doing for the Memorial Day weekend?" And I'm like, nothing.
I forgot.
Yeah, but it's like we're in Mexico. That's different holidays. But people that work in the U.S. have that day off, so there's 3-day weekenders down here. So that makes sense.
Come on down, enjoy your time.
Come on down.
Happy Memorial Weekend.
Yes, exactly. So don't forget to support the podcast. Buymeacoffee.com/Hansons on Hiatus. You can buy some virtual beers if you enjoy our stories and just shit that happens to us.
If you enjoy listening to the shit that happens to us, buy us a couple online beers.
And we get a little tidbit of information in there every now and then if you're coming to Mexico.
You learn something, you laugh, it's great.
Yep, exactly. And don't forget to follow, subscribe, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, iTunes, and now Google Podcasts. That is YouTube Music. So it's all over.
You'll find us. Just wherever you type in podcast, Hansons on Hiatus, and we'll be there.
Yep. But hope you guys have a great and safe Memorial Day weekend. Happy Friday, fuckers.
Happy Friday, fuckies.
That's it. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now. Bye.